Test, test, test. Hello, hello, hello. 1 second. Getting everything organized. I'm just responding. Doing some Discord chatting real quick. Man, I need coffee. I slept so hard last night. Oh, that's it. That's the stuff. Or broker lists. Message. What do they call them? Sending systems. What was the other one? Oh, I guess ZeroMQ. Nano message is Mangos, but the Go version. Ooh-wee. How's everyone doing today? Yeah, but the reason I switched away from Mangos, I don't know if Kingston's here yet, but the reason I switched away from Mangos was because the networking setup that I wanted to have didn't fit with how the Mangos's scalability patterns. Like none of those patterns fit well with what I was trying to do. So I figured I would just do it myself. The other thing is that Mangos doesn't have anything that tracks computers, which is probably like an overall good thing for a complex distributed system. But since I feel like I could track computers, Mangos has to, because it doesn't track computers, it has to waste messages, right? Like it gives you a higher abstraction layer. So it sends the message to everybody and then it filters usually. So like some of the pub sub stuff, like it sends it to every single computer. If you have one publisher and like 1,000 subscribers, you're gonna send 1,000 messages, and then maybe like 10 of them actually receive it, which is maybe okay. It just depends on what you're doing. In my case, I'm trying to like very efficiently transfer data between a lot of computers. So I figured I would just do it myself. Am I lagging? I feel like I've been having internet issues. Look at the old stream health. This stream is healthy. I started using this, I started moving from log to like the regular log package to this thing called zero log. It's actually really nice though. It says log levels, you can pass in data, you can set errors. So my logging is a lot crisper now. Get this guy building, or bash. Uh-oh, wait a minute. What did I do? I need to get more coffee, I'm running out. That'd be a sad day. I guess let's look at the error. Oh, that's kind of weird. It's weird that this, got pushed, or did it get pushed? It had to have gotten pushed. That's fine. What was my last push? Clean up panic statements. Oh, I guess I wasn't really building stuff. I was just like, maybe I thought I was building it, but I wasn't actually. Oh, well, one downside is Emacs doesn't print out the colors properly for my new logging, which is disappointing. I need to return 2 things. Hello, Dracula. How are you doing today? It's hard to tell because the colors are all warped. Tired mostly? Same. The title is getting better with each stream. Thank you. Yeah, I'm also feeling tired, but I just woke up, so that's my excuse. Did you have a long day, Dracula? Long day at work? Long day in the office? Yeah. My titles are getting more and more abstract. Programmer programs. They're getting more and more vague. I kind of want to make a new title every single time, but that's a lot of titles. This is the 50-second stream I've done, so it's hard to invent a new title every time. When I first started, I would actually like try to write out what I was going to work on that day. I feel like I should write like a quick like two sentence summary at the end of it. I don't think people really go back and watch my streams too frequently, but if they did, that would be a useful thing. Life, yeah, living life, live, laugh, loving. So 2 hours and 3 minutes at work. Oh no, you'll get through it. That's close to the end of the day. You're getting close to being done. I started using this new logging thing. I want to show you guys because it's super cool. These are some internal printing for my rendering library, so ignore those. Look at that. Look at those colors. And there's some disconnects that happen. I can reconnect. And I can pop out. Terminate completely. Look at that. Get nice little colors. Super nice. I know, look at that. We do have colors. Isn't it pretty? Logging did change. I did change it. I didn't stream it, but I changed it. There's before I had a lot of like random printouts, and I'm trying to make things more like data, I almost said data-based, but like data oriented, I'll say. But yeah, I switched to logging libraries. I started using this one called Zero Log, and they have like not pretty enough till you can make it all green so we can feel like Mr. Hacker. Oh, the text. Oh, we can do that. Just kidding. That'll make my eyes bleed. Well, let me copy this guy. How you feeling now? Do you feel like Mr. Hacker yet? Need a darker green? The problem is it's a black background. There you go. That actually matches that matches pretty well. That's better. I'm sorry, I can't live like this though. I feel like Mr. Hacker, good. I like the white better. I know it's fun to make it green, but I don't know. I can't do it. I tried my best. Not that I don't like green, I just like it when most of it's white. But that is the very like hacker typer terminal. Hold on guys, just let me type a little bit of code here. Yep, and then I'm gonna allocate, do a kmalloc, if statement, do some easy stuff here. There'll be an else section of our if statement. Yep. Okay, yep, this is next. We'll have some, we'll free some groups. Wait, what the heck? Why did Nightbot block you? I like how you send two, you send two messages with caps and then Nightbot blocks you. Let me, oh boy, what's my log? Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. We're already logged in. Let me add you as a, regular. 1 second. All right, you probably have less, that's what hackers get, yeah. All right, back to C. I add you as a special member now. Now Nightbot will leave you alone, hopefully. I wish that it just lessened up the amount of things people could do. The problem is we just had like one time. Let's see if I can. We just had one time where like we got a bunch of spam. So I didn't want to like disable spam. But it's like, I don't know. I wish it was easy just because like I just want to like right click on somebody and I guess I can do that, can't I? I almost don't need Nightbot. I just don't have enough people. Spam protection. I'll disable excess caps and excess emotes. What's up, Kai? How's it going? Did you figure out your networking thing for your ECS? Top Chat took care of most of it. Yeah. Yeah, Top Chat blocks a lot of stuff. We can host our own chat. Yeah, YouTube does need better chat. They're just newer to the streaming game. Oh, it works. You can't work on the ECS. Gotcha. Angular plus C# stuff. Nice. That sounds interesting. Yeah, for like when I was making my networking decision, it was like there's brokerless messages. There's brokerless message brokers, which is kind of like nano message and 0MQ, and then there's brokered message queues. So that's like kind of like the one big decision I had to make, and I chose the brokerless just because it seemed like just about the same performance, except I didn't have to run a broker. And there are some situations where you probably want a broker, like then you have your nodes go down, but you have this message broker, which is probably a little bit more reliable, and he'll stay up longer. You might not lose messages as easily, you know, and you can more independently restart stuff in between. That'd be the one advantage I think there. If you're gonna have this like big ECS vision where everything's coupled together, you probably don't want that. I don't know. I just need a good TCP UDP library. Yeah, I mean the Go default ones are pretty good. Like the replacement, the amount of code I had to write to replace Mangos with just TCP was not that much. But yeah, if you don't fit into those like scalability protocols, then you should probably just use TCP and do whatever you want. Angular, shake my head. Enterprise stack memento. Yeah, I've never used Angular before. I know very little about the front end stuff. That's what's nice about Go though. They have pretty good networking libraries just by default. It's pretty set up to do that sort of stuff. What was I doing? I need to go to my GitHub and look. Projects, tasks. All right, here's what we're working on. Code productionization and refactoring. I did panic statements. I did logging. I just need to go through to-dos and then look at race conditions. I know I have race conditions. My idea is to handle all the client server stuff within the ECS itself, since that's all you really need synced, plus a way for clients to send raw inputs. Yeah, like in a way, oh, so this is for, oh, so you're just setting up the networking for client to server. Yeah, you probably don't want to use Mangos then. The hard part for me, because I'm doing kind of my things a little bit similar, is like sometimes you don't want things to be replicated, so you need a way to do that, I think. And then also for client input, actually, you can just make that a component, and then that'll get replicated from the client side to the server side. So you have like this client component, but then it's like it's a component that needs to be controlled by the client, and that's a little bit different than most of the other components, which need to be like owned by the server. Like the server is the final authority on those rather than the client being the final authority. Differentiating between entity and networked entity. Oh, okay, gotcha. That sounds smart. Then you're not sending everything. Yeah, so you can add some component to filter those out. There was one other thing that I had though. That was what I was gonna say. Oh, I think the other challenging part is like deciding how much you send and like what's the most important thing to send and like how frequently do you send it. Right, like which components are important, and the game needs to kind of specify those because the ECS doesn't know like what the most important update is to send. The game has to figure that out. From what I've seen from just like literature review is that they'll use like a priority queue, interest management with a func, world entity client bool or something. Yeah, that sounds smart. Yeah, my kind of understanding was that every client has some priority queue of things you want to send, and then like every tick, you push things into the priority queue and upgrade priorities of things and resort it. And then you kind of have this sorted list of what's the most important stuff that the client needs to get. And the client can just send message object, which the server uses to applies inputs to the player object or whatnot. Yeah, that makes sense. You also don't need to send every component. Only some components need to actually be sent, right? Like if inside your ECS you have a mesh object or something like that, you wouldn't want to send that over the network, right? You wouldn't want to like serialize that and send it. So like you need to be able to filter out some components that send and some components that don't. Or I guess you could make it the serialization for those really simple too. That might work too. I just feel like there'd be some times where that would be hard. I don't have an example off the top of my head. Needs plus components will both have networked and non-networked variants. Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. I'm excited to see how it turns out. All right, guys. A lot of to-dos to do. We got a lot of to-dos to do. Uh-oh. They caught me. I like how you captioned this with caught unit doing C on stream. Scary. I've been found out. I'm really just a C programmer. I've been a C programmer this whole time. You guys just didn't even know it. Imagine using to-do comments. Me and the boys just panic with random messages. Yeah, I had a few panics in there. I would just like sometimes it would just be panic with the string unknown. I fixed those though. What's up, Doru? How's it going? It is newt time. Time to newt. All right, we got a lot of to-dos in here. To do, is this fast enough? Oh, I'm thinking with the atomic. I need like a low priority to do. The problem with to do is like there's some things that are important and there's some things that aren't. Maybe I go through all. Maybe the first thing I do is I do like to do bang or something. Like you must to do this. Like this is an important to do. This is not an important to do. I'm gonna leave this. Adding urgency. Yep, exactly. That's what I want. This is actually a race condition. Player ID. This is an important one. Oh, I can delete all this stuff. Feels so good to delete code. Wait a second. Yeah. To do optimization opportunity. Oh, this is not important. When this triggers, I need to have an eventual code path to 1, log out all the users that are on the proxy. I already did that. And then 2, make sure the socket is closed. I did that too. Requires the client to put their input on spot 0. I kind of hard code that. I think that's okay though. I could have a different message type. My mind just went to rate to dos from 1 to 10, aka to do 10 or to do 11. I think I just give up on this project. Yeah, I like the bang thing because at least the bang thing lets me filter. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to rerun my search for all the to-dos, and now I can search for all the to-do bangs and go through those. It requires client to put their input on spot 0. So this one I think I could fix by adding. The problem here is I'm using the same message type, like the same message serialization, which lets you send multiple entities over, but I don't need to do that. So I have to pick a entity slot to send it over in. So I'm picking slot 0. I'll add a note there, but I'm not going to change. This one's not that important. I might just reuse the PGSF project I made, which has strongly typed network message handling WebSockets already working. Isn't it going to be hard to maintain the code base if you eventually have to switch? Isn't it going to be hard to maintain the code base if you manually have to switch statement your message types? Yeah, no, that's definitely true. It will be hard to maintain. I don't know. I don't really have a better alternative though. Actually, I thought about what I would do is that I would have some map that has lambda handlers depending on the message type. That's the kind of the direction I was going to go in towards. I don't know. What did you do for PGSF? I couldn't figure it out. Oh, okay, it does that. Yeah. I was planning to do that. Like I was going to write like lambda functions and then like if the message type is this. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. That seemed to be like the most recommended way. Like that's what they do for the HTTP router and stuff like that. So I figured that was like the go way. And the generic.on register. Oh, and the generic.on which registers the handler. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, for now though, I'm just type switching everywhere, which is kind of painful. But my immediate goal is not really like to get it super clean. My immediate goal was to, well, I'm kind of in the, I do like how I kind of code is I'll like write a bunch of stuff, not really like knowing where it's going, and then because like I don't really know the abstraction I want to build until I build a crappy version first. So I built a crappy version. Now I kind of know what I want to build. So, oh, Conifer joined with a second account. Is Conifer version 2.0? Roll Conifer 2.0, please. I pay in lap dances and maid services. Okay. This is the serve proxy connection. Put into a function, not thread safe. I think I have the server though, right? I just have the server con. Well, at least I know these are important. Oh, I even wrote this. Refactor the network layer to have an RPC functionality. But I don't know if I'm going to do that actually, because I think that I don't know if I want to go the RPC route. I'll put a question mark there. Yeah, exactly. Like they just like I feel like they just like make things more abstracted. Yeah. It is nice because like you have to associate the original request with the response somehow. So at least you can like close off the loop of being like, hey, I made this call and they came back and told me everything was good. Like that's kind of that's a pretty nice feature to have. I just feel like I don't really need it that much because I'm using TCP right now. So that means that every message I send has to be received. And I don't really have like that request response pattern most of the time because it's mostly like, hey, send this update, send this update. I can always build some kind of request response message type on top of my normal networking though. You need the request response pattern. I use the HTTP API because that's probably what you're doing. Yeah, I just don't want to like because I'm trying to have like low. It's supposed to be very low late. Well, I guess if I have to do something that's request response based, I probably would use HTTP because like in that case I'm not doing something that's high or low. I'm trying to do for low latency. Like the low latency messages are the normal messages that I send, and then if I do anything that's higher latency, I'll probably do some request response thing. I don't know if I'd use HTTP. I wonder if there's like HTTP might work. I don't know. I just feel like HTTP has a lot more stuff that I probably don't need, and I don't know how much that contributes to like slowing things down. This is not a bad to do. All right, that's all of those. Like asking for inventory items should be an HTTP call. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. I think there will eventually need to be some sort of thing like that. I just know there's also like I guess is gRPC HTTP? If you have a data API to provide gRPC is HTTP. Gotcha. If you have a data API to provide request response and then use WebSockets for actual live messaging, then you keep the code really clean. Yeah, that's probably true. Because originally I was thinking I would add it on top of my low latency messaging, but I think that would just make things slow. Like the more you pack into the low latency messaging, just increases the latency of that messaging. So like I want that to be as stripped down as possible. And then the stuff that's more like, oh, it's okay if you get this in a second or two, that stuff I'll probably use something else. I just don't know. I don't know the advantage of using, I guess HTTP is literally for this, but like HTTP is literally for making requests and stuff. So maybe that's the right solution. I just don't know if there's any alternatives. I probably would want to look around a little bit though. Not that I'm like against HTTP, but actually, especially if I'm gonna have it work on a browser, I probably have to use HTTP. So yeah, I probably will use HTTP then. I don't know. Things to think about. Not to mention all the tooling for building request response things, REST APIs, which make them really simple to build. Yeah, there's definitely a lot already built for HTTP, which makes that nice. Makes it nice and easy. It's like a very well scoped out thing. So let's see here. Move to system that converts. I'll do that one. I'd like to get the entire entity at once. What does this mean? Oh, I'm writing multiple stuff. I can batch these together. That's a good one to do. We should have a login response handling function. Body to sprite. Oh, I think what I was thinking was that when you log in, you'll have some kind of response that sends back all of the data. I think that this already works though. I think I can already do this. I think I already have that. So that's fine. This was my old way of my ECS. So I can comment that out. Do move to other system. I'll leave that. Not sure if there's proper, we'll just double check this. I think that this is probably fine, but I'm just gonna go through all the main functions and look at all the to-dos. That I need to do, that I need to do. Eventually it should come from the login request, which probably has it. Oh, that I don't necessarily need to do right now. I don't need that in a lock. Oh, maybe just kick off. Little typo there. Kick off a Go routine that continually tries to do this until it succeeds, or maybe have a worker that reads from a queue or map or something like that. I'm trying to think of why. Oh, this is trying to send the log out. No, I think I just send it once and hope it works. It's not failed to forward though. Let me just double check this. This is in the handles the website connection to a specific client in the room. So when this exits, we want to send a logout message to the server to basically say like, hey, this person's disconnected. That's fine. I think I can finish this to do. That still needs to happen when I migrate to TCP. I think I can go ahead and clean this up. Do rename. I want to leave it. I think that that's okay. I do want to track some metrics that say like, oh, we're sending this many bytes to like the server's sending this much out and reading this much in. I think that would be a cool metric to have. Let's just double check this and this. A lot of commented code. Should I double check the we'll double check these ones. I don't know when this situation would happen though, but I need to clean this. I like this notation though. To do bang. It's pretty clean to do. Actually, I think that this is fine for now. That's the only to do there. I guess you could add Prometheus instrumentation early on. Or with build tags or something, you could just pop in Grafana or something. Yeah, I had thought about, I haven't really looked too in depth into the different monitoring solutions. It seems like people use Prometheus though. The logging library that I'm using it doesn't really have like metrics, but it lets me emit JSON things. So I can probably emit stuff there and aggregate it in something, I assume. But yeah, I do need to look into that. For at least to start, I don't really want to track anything that complicated. I just want to like aggregate how much I'm it would be nice to know how long I'm spending in each system. That's one thing that would be nice to know. And the other thing that would be nice to know is how long or how much data I'm sending over the network, from like the server to the proxy, from the proxy to the server, from the proxy to the client, or to each client maybe. Yeah, I think that those would be interesting data points to have. I don't necessarily need those to go into some sort of like large scale graphing thing, but it would be nice to just like have those get printed out in logs somewhere. So you can just pop in the logs and be like, here's the stats for the whatever. I'll be right back. I'm gonna make another cup of coffee. Coffee's a brewing. She's brewing. Okay, I've gone through all those. We'll get flat buffer next. What's this doing? There doesn't appear to be any checks to show that succeeded. I don't know what that's for. I'm gonna leave it. I'm not really using the flat buffer serialization anymore because the binary one saves so much bandwidth. Yeah. Okay. These ones were like, oh, that'd be a cool optimization. I'm not gonna rename stuff. Not gonna worry about those. To do. Okay. I'll just leave that. AG to do. Okay. We're getting actually through this pretty fast. We just have net.go and mmo.go. Okay. I'm gonna do 5 seconds here. I'll leave the to do. 5 seconds is better than 2. Dude, is this a good idea? I like when I write really vague to dos like this. Really challenges my critical thinking. Oh, is it a good idea to try to close the connection one last time? I don't think there's any bad stuff that happens when you close too many times. I wish I had like a very determined, I'm not gonna fix this, but I'll leave the to do. Thread safety, yep. Optimize this buffer creation, yep. Oh wait, that one's left. Okay. I just wanna make a display name data type, but I can do that later. I'm just gonna leave this to do then. This one I'm gonna delete because we refactored that. We removed position from sprite with the plan to make a network position to be something that comes off the network. Then have a system that interprets the current transformation. Oh, that was when I was doing interpolation still, which I stopped doing. That was a long time ago. I'm not sure if I really need this. I'm gonna write a to do. Do I still need network, or do I still need interpolation like this? The job of this one, I think, is to actually write to the world. So I think this is fine. I think this is thread safe. All right. I can do this. All right, here's all of our to-dos that we gotta do. So there's two thread safety things I need to do here. So I have 2 thread safety things I have to do here. One of them is when I update the world, I need to send that over the channel because I shouldn't be accessing the world here, right? The other thing is the player ID is something that's getting passed around to a lot of threads, but it's not synchronized anywhere. So this one I can probably lock, or I can rethink about how I do this. Like I could make this a part of the world as a unique entity or something like that. I might just have, I'm tempted to have some like global piece of data that the whole chunk is synchronized and player ID is just one piece there. I don't think I should have access to world here though. I don't see why I need it. Let's first fix this one. Typoed. Okay, we have a world update. We'll basically just build our own world update. Let's see here. User ID. Any reason not to abstract this into a router system which directs the messages to whatever handlers they have? Are you talking about the type switch part? The type switch part, I still need to do that, but there's still this problem of there's a physics simulation running in one thread, and then there's messages coming on the other thread, and I need to separate those somehow. So the way that I chose to do it was by having a network channel. So basically, when the client or the server has a similar pattern to this, but Basically, like you have one thread that's listening for messages to come in. So messages are coming in, and those can't write to the ECS directly. So those push their messages into a queue. And then there's a system on the physics simulation side that one of the systems is his job is to pull stuff out of this queue and write it to the world, to the ECS world. But yeah, I still need to do the handler stuff. But the handler abstraction won't be that hard once I have this, because it's just gonna, it's like that's just moving code around. What did I miss? Hey, good morning, JJ. Not too much. We're just fixing to-dos. User ID. What does this get used for? I need to look at the other system that's on the other side of this channel. I think it's here. Oh yeah, pull network system. Oh, I don't even read user ID, do I? I think this is a general problem I have, which is that, actually I don't know if that's a problem really. I feel like I'm reusing this message type too much though. That's fine. We can fix it later. This is gonna be kind of painful. I want to do client login response has a user ID. I'm just gonna put it in there. I like how I'm doing all of this just to push one piece of data here. Do I even need to do this? Because I think I send the body over the network anyways. So it seems weird that I'm even doing this at all. I wonder if this just works. Yeah, I think that this just works. Yeah, I don't know why I was fiddling with that. Well, I'm curious how you break out all these complex systems into components and know all this terminology about what each piece does. Yeah, that's just what happens when you what's it called? When like you're the one that wrote it all. You just like remember how it all works. You missed unit writing C. Yeah. Yes, you did. It was a momentous occasion. He did. I was in Hacker Typer. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get my coffee. What do you need C for? That's just what when you go on hackertyper.com and you like hit random buttons, it types out C code. I think it copies like, or it prints out like Linux kernel code. I think. I feel like goes C without the spiky pits everywhere. Yeah, 100%. Just because of like all the concurrency stuff and also all of the garbage collection stuff. It's so nice. And the strong typing. One time in a lifetime. C and go? C go video? Yeah. I think that's my best video still. That C go one. That OpenGL C go video. I gotta outdo myself though. All right. Now we can get rid of this. Okay. Player ID needs to be, or actually this is gonna fail to compile now. How many arguments? How long are we live for? Probably for like an hour longer or so. About an hour or so. Yeah. You have to commute fast. Like I said, I don't know how long your commute is, but let's see here. So that's fixed now. Actually, this still needs to be fixed. Spring Boot stream win. Oh, it's coming up. Let me tell you. The problem with me doing streams about stuff that I like have no idea about is like it'll just be me getting mad at stuff. If you guys want to see that, I'm happy to do it. It'll just be me like not understanding something and being like, this is the stupidest thing ever. Who invented this? It's such a stupid idea. This is how it should have been, without even like thinking about why they did what they did. I'm tempted here because I have this player ID that gets passed around a lot. The thing is it only gets written like one time, and then every time after that it just gets read. So I'm tempted to have like some struct. I don't know. Like the easiest thing to do is to add a mutex for this, but I could make like a player struct, like hold player data. That's probably actually what I should do. Man, I'm smart. I just came up with that right off the top. Oh, I have a user struct already. This is for the server. I need to have a like MMO client folder or file. This represents player data on the problem with doing it this way is like, what am I gonna do? Add a mutex inside of here? Maybe I'm not as smart as I thought I was. I could call it player data. I'm not gonna call it player. We'll make getter and setter functions just so that nothing's like super messy. Hilla stream? What's that mean? Do you guys prefer get ID or just ID? What do you think? I have arrived. ID sounds more go. All right, I like that too. Will defer ever fail to run? Oh, it's like a backend framework for Java. Interesting. I prefer ID getter.get ID. You know what? That's a good point. I need to make an interface. Get like that. No, get ID. Now tell me, what was this C you were doing? Well, you see. Well, you see. Well, you see. Ah, now you see. No, I was just on Hacker Typer, pretending like that I knew how to code. All right, you've caught my interest. Modern web framework for Java. TypeScript UI, Java backend. TypeScript. Yum. I don't know how I feel about async programming. I feel like it makes things really confusing, fast, and flexible. It's easy to create your own reusable elements with lit. That's what I called my literate programming code generation thing, lit. It's gotta change my name now. Already copied, already done, already been taken. Async is quite nice. Really. I don't know, I just feel like I did a little bit of async programming in JavaScript. And I don't know if it was just because I was in JavaScript it was bad, or if I didn't know what I was doing it was bad. It was a while ago. It just kind of got confusing. I don't know. That's how I remember. GitHub has a front-end library. I didn't know that. That's cool. I don't think I have to set up mutexes. Do you guys ever do this? Player dat? I guess it's, I don't know. I thought it was bad when I first tried it. Yes. Now since I've gotten used to it. Gotcha. I just yeah, I want to play around with it and try to understand it better. I guess it's an alternative to like I feel like this is the differences, or maybe, and I might be wrong here, but it seems like there's two ways of thinking about concurrent programming. You could either do it the async way, where like you create these asynchronous functions that kind of like run whenever, or you do it like the Go way, where you launch a thread like this that runs kind of in parallel. Is that right? Like you either synchronize, because like this thread goes and does stuff and then it synchronizes stuff. Either I pass in stuff that has synchronization features in it, or I do it async where like this would return something and then I had to wait for it somewhere else. You know, like am I thinking about that right? That's how I think about it, but I don't know if that's the right way to think about it. Like either I make some global piece of data that passes to two threads and then I synchronize that somehow, or I think about it like I'm calling a function that returns some value that isn't present yet. My variable naming is horrible. I've been there. I still am there. The problem is like I name something some way and then I realize like actually like I didn't want to call it exactly that. Like it's actually more like this, you know? And sometimes I'll go back and forth, which is the worst part. I don't need to do that anymore. Mu. Oh. E.mu. I always do that. Oh, is there a certain name for Go mutex, sync mutex? I wanted to go to Go doc. I need to have a hotkey where I go over something and I click a button and it takes me to the Go doc for that package. That'd be nice. Oh, I need an RW mutex. Oh shoot, I closed it too fast. I think it's probably this. All right, cool. Client receive. What's the best backend language and backend framework? Anything is a backend language. Yeah, if you squint hard enough, that's true. I also do like Go for backend. I could also see Rust being a good backend language if you're going to like write something that's you want really good like performance and uptime of user U, team members TM. Yeah. I think that I don't think the names that you picked are bad, TLK. I think that those are good names if they're in a small enough scope. Oh geez, Jomi. I have comp P, comp U8 variable names. Rust with Rocket. Perl is obviously the best backend language. 100% 100% real, not fake. Oh, okay. I guess those make sense. That's not too bad then. Especially if you're coding in a way that's like what's the important piece of data is the type that it is, then I think that's fine. Rocket kind of bad. I prefer Axum. Yeah, I don't know Rust. I don't know the Rust things that well. Oh, look at me. After all that talking about what we should call this, I still did get ID. Oh. I got a segfault in Rust today. I see it as an accomplishment. How did you segfault? You have to do unsafe stuff, right? You reference a null pointer, so you had to do that. You had to do that in unsafe, didn't you? I guess this system ends pretty fast, right? So I can just pass in the player ID. Oh, wait a second. That's actually not good because I'm creating one of these. I'm returning it here. Actually, client receive. Would the player ID ever change? I guess I probably should. The nice thing is because I'm using a read-write lock is most of the things are reading this piece of data, so it'll probably be pretty fast. Except for this is writing it. Player data dot set ID. Yeah, ID. This was the original thing we had to fix. I think it's obvious that you need to make an ID getter function that does some spooky reflection things to get ID. Honestly, I do get kind of frustrated sometimes when Go makes me do like reflection to get something that I feel like is like a pretty trivial piece of data. That is a little unfortunate, but I understand they're trying to make the language small, but sometimes it's like, man, this would be so much faster and easier if I could just like inspect my code, or I don't know. And it's like the workaround is like to do code generation. So when I get a pointer from a vec, it was a null pointer. Interestingly though, it wasn't actually a null pointer. It was a pointer to address 1. How is it possible for you to have gotten a, like how was that pointer ever put into that vec? How was that pointer ever created? That's what's interesting. Or was it, did it come from some library that was using unsafe maybe? Riff tracks? I don't know what that means. What is riff tracks? Rest creates the vec when a value is added to the vec. But using vec.new won't actually create the vec. Riff tracks is a game you play with your friends. Check it out if you game with friends. Yeah, let me look. I'm finding riff tracks as like a oh, it was this like comedy thing that they turned into a game. Interesting. That reminds me of what's it called? What's that party game? Jackbox? Yeah. It reminds me of Jackbox games. So if you push an item to a vec and get a pointer, it works, but vec new.as pointer will return a null pointer. Oh, I see what you mean. When you said I got a point, when I got a pointer from a vec, it was a null pointer. What I thought you meant was that you pulled something out of a vec, and that was null. That's interesting. How does, oh, I guess as pointer is kind of an unsafe thing, isn't it? Yeah, you get a scene and you add a riff and people vote the best one. Yeah, gotcha. That makes sense. As pointer is not unsafe. Interesting. But dereferencing a pointer. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I guess it's not bad to not know the data. You just can't do anything with it. That makes sense. Interesting. You crashed Rust. Actually, I don't think I need to do this. In the future, I might. Yeah, let's do this one. Put into a login message. That's kind of weird that I make keybinds for everything. I feel like these should only happen for like setting the sprite is okay for I received some update and I have some character, I can create their sprite, but I don't need to create an input component. I don't need to create a keybinds component. So I think that's wrong. Welcome back, Kai. Mine save code works now. Nice. I think I just need to create this once for the login response. Let's try that. Actually, it's here. No, it's not there. It's yeah, it is here. Client receive. Yeah, so I get a login response and technically I want to do this. Yeah, I think that I want to do this. I'm going to delete this because I think that that's okay. I'm going to copy paste this. That one I don't need. I don't want to write the body because that should come over the network. Input and keybinds. Those ones should be written. Render glitch. Wait a second. Flow render glitch. I don't like that I have to import those for the networking system so much, but can I move still? Yes, I can. Look at the terminal. Go run dot. Play. Seems like it works still. Sounds good. I think that's okay. It's weird that I was doing this before. I guess it was okay to like, I was basically making everybody have the same components when in reality, a lot of them didn't need the components, which isn't that big of an issue. But because I'm using like the player ID to control who you read from, but it was just it was cluttered. It could cause an issue. I don't know if it would though. I'm gonna actually finish an ECS I'm happy with. Are you writing a Rust one now? This is ECS number 3. Well, you have Swift, you did C, and now this is Rust. I'll take another one. Oh, I got frustrated with C macros. I don't blame you, to be honest. Maybe a little bit. Now make a game. Jomi's an engine dev. This is what we do. We say, oh man, if I just make this one last engine component, I'll be able to make a game. And it never happens. I know, that's what I do at least. After this, I just need to write a rendering library. Oh, easy. Easy peasy. I'm never going to write a rendering library again. And a networking service and a database? Yeah, just one last thing. What are you going to run all this in? You need an OS to run all this stuff on. You know what I mean? I can finally make a snake clone. Pretty accurate. This is on the server side. Oh, this is the server equivalent of what we've done. Yeah, I totally forget I need an OS. And hardware. Yep. You gotta build a computer from scratch too. Else are you really even programming? ServerCon login map. This is where I'm doing the not thread safe map access. Put into a function. This is not thread safe. Refactor network. I don't want that. Make your own CPU. Anyway, I promise I'll finally write a game after I have a good ECS. Yep. That's the problem with it's fun to build your own stuff, but the only downside is like you end up in this perpetual state of like, oh, I just need to add this one last thing. So it can make it hard to finish something. But it's about having fun to some degree. I don't know that I necessarily need to put this into a function. So they don't have a user, they don't have an input. This is just setting up the user data. T.user_id, that should be readable. Servercon.proxy ID, that's set. I'm trying to think here though. Yeah, the user can't switch proxies. And if I do, I'll have to have some sort of like synchronization for that. That's good. I have ECS.write here. That I want to delete. What does this go to? That. Oh, world, this needs to be deleted. Okay, component 1. We have physics input, which is just blank because we don't know their input yet. That'll get set in their next synchronization update. We'll pick up a random body, and then we'll put them at the spawn point. And they're gonna get a random ID now, and that's okay. Or they're gonna get a new ID. I do incrementing numbers, so it's not really random, but you know what I mean. Okay, that looks good. Then we have the login message. This stuff should be deletable now. Let's just make sure it still runs. Expected error at end of statement. Oh, whoops. No comma there. Now we're good. Now we're talking. Cool. Cool. This is not thread safe. Let's delete this actually. Part of me is tempted to use a concurrent map here, but part of me thinks that there's some other synchronization layer. Well, this is being shared. The server con object is being shared by the send and receive. Wait, where is the concurrent map access? Oh, I guess I have reads and writes. Like I write a new one, and then I have a place where I'm reading it undoubtedly. I want to do servercon.login map. That's weird that it's not finding. Okay. These are in the same thread though. Serve proxy connection. Is that in the same thread? Oh, this is all in the same thread. I guess that's not really concurrent, is it? That may be okay. This is the handler, I think. Let's go to server. Yeah. So this is in the handler function. This gets kicked off. And new server. Server.start. So this launches the handler, but with each server con. So because the login map is proxy specific, it's only ever accessed by this one connection object. I'm just kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised that I must be using it somewhere else, I think. Why can I read the length? That's probably, I don't know if that's thread safe actually. I feel like I must be doing this somewhere else. Let me see here. No, I want to do login map. So I'm only using it there. 214 to 346. 214. I guess it's not really concurrent then. Okay. So we can just take that note. And yeah, this to-do is done now. But I wonder if I should just use the concurrent map here. It's kind of connection local though, so it's probably okay. I just don't know if this is, I have to imagine that this is probably thread safe. This is the only concurrent part. Let's look at that. Okay, that's not what I was asking for. It's a race condition, okay. Is it a race condition or is it going to panic? I don't necessarily care if it's a race condition, but I do care if it's going to panic because there's concurrent map access panics. Oh, I don't know why I'm being so averse to adding a lock here. Like I could pretty easily add a lock here and it probably wouldn't be that impactful. Or really what I would do is I'd probably add like functions for server cons to manage their map better. And I'd just see like delete user. Yeah, exactly. I think you're right. This is what happens sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, oh, like I don't need it, but probably the right thing to do is just push these into functions and make it thread safe. I'm actually just going to use a concurrent map here. I assume that the Go authors implemented it faster than I could. That's not it. Concurrent map. Oh, actually, this looks pretty nasty to use. Yeah, I'm not going to use this. Servercon send receive. Let's look at the different things we do here with the login map. I'm gonna call it login user. ID. Wait a second. User ID. ECS ID. Uint 64. Logout user. I think I just need to do user ID here now. Oops. I need to get user based off of a user ID. I need read log. I think I can do concurrent reads on a map though. I think that that's thread safe. Concurrent safe for read only. Oops. R unlock. Actually, I think this is capital. C dot login map. User ID. Oh, interesting. I don't actually check. This should return a that should return that. ID okay. Servercon dot get user ID. If not okay. So this is the situation. This would be a bad situation though, because this is on the server side. That means the proxy thinks someone's logged in, but they're not. We call this an error. Proxy sent update for user that we don't have logged in. Like I should put their actually, I think I have I made a stat user ID. Perfect. Where do I do this? I think I use this in proxy. So I'm just trying to copy paste code. Here we go. There we go. All right, cool. That's kind of a weird indentation. I do dot here. Guess that's fine. I feel like I'd prefer to have the dot here. I guess this shows that it's not ending though. So I mean, that's okay. We'll log in. We'll print an error if we can't find the user. It just said proxy send an update for a user that we don't have logged in or that we don't have it on server. That looks good. Close that down. Login map. Look for more of those now. Oops, we're on the wrong one. Login map. Okay. This will log the user in. Did I code this one yet? No, I have not. Let's just code these really quick. These won't be too hard. Excuse me. Lock and unlock. 10 a.m. It's already 10. Yep. Time comes for us all. This will probably be the last to do that I work on. Log out user. This one's just this, I think. Yeah, this seems right. Except I don't need T dot. It's just user ID. That's that one. If the logout happens, this is just a ID. Okay. Get user. T.user ID. If not, okay. I feel like, do I call this further up? I guess we're receiving a message and we don't know the user. So every single message time we parse it, we need to look up what the user is. This could be put into my router chain though later on. So we don't need to delete the user because they're already deleted. I guess if we can't get their ID, there's no even possible way to delete them from the world. So yeah, that we can do. This we can do. All right, login map. What I technically want here is I don't really want to like be able to figure out the length. What I want to do is I want to have some stats object that I print out or that I track somewhere, you know? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this function, where is it? Get stats. And for now, I'm just going to have a return an int. This is kind of bad, but proxy ID, that's kind of a server stat or oh no, I have a bunch of connections. I loop through them all and then I want to get the stats on each one. Maybe I just return a string. Actually, I don't know. We'll just return an int. Cool. A lot of errors. User ID. It should be T dot user ID. Get user. This should be server con. C dot mu dot. Oh wait, it's RW mutex. Proxy con. Oh. C dot login map ret. See if she still works. But that fixed this race condition, or it should fix this race condition. That should say 0. Cool. I made a library for scraping a website and typed it really well, but now I'm untyping it because it caused way too many switch statements and generic function mess. Yeah. Getting the types right is really hard, especially in Go. This got fixed. Categorized to-dos and fixed a few. All right, there's that. That's going to be it for today, though, boys. Thanks for stopping in. It was fun. Oh, it was a productive one. I feel like I got a lot done, which always feels good. Next time we'll finish up the to-dos. Let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy your days as well. Oh yeah, we just have race conditions and to-dos left, and then we'll start trying to deploy it. So that'll be next time. We're getting close. We're getting close to a loginable game. So yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, you guys have a good one. Yep, super pog. Yeah. I don't think any of my networking code will crash, but how I'm gonna set it up, at least on the initial launch, is I'm not gonna do any like super crazy network testing. If anything crashes though, it's probably gonna be that or the rendering library. We'll see. But anyways, I will see you guys on Thursday. Thanks for stopping in.